60. General knowledge questions and answers. What happens if you eat too much wheat? So, if you have celiac disease and eat gluten, it will trigger an autoimmune response that damages the lining of your small intestine. This reduces your ability to absorb nutrients from food and could lead to serious nutritional deficiencies, osteoporosis, infertility, and bowel cancer. What plant is money made from? Cotton and flax. According to the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, US paper currency is made up of 75% cotton and 25% linen. That is, there are three-fourths of a pound of cotton in each pound of dollar bills. This same source also informs us that there are 454 bills in a pound of currency. Who owns the Swiss bank? The largest and second largest Swiss banks are UBS Group and AG and Credit Suisse Group AG, respectively. They account for over 50% of all deposits in Switzerland. Each has extensive branch networks throughout the country and most international centers. What is Palk Strait? Palk Strait, inlet of the Bay of Bengal between southeastern India and northeastern Sri Lanka. It is bounded on the south by Pamban Island, India, Adams, Ramas Bridge, a chain of sholas, the Gulf of Mannar and Mannar Island, Sri Lanka. The southwestern portion of the strait is also called Palk Bay. Who first introduced coin in India? Kushan Emperor Vima Kadaphises in 100 AD. Kushan Emperor Vima Kadaphises was the first one to introduce a gold coin to the Indians. Which is the longest poem in English? The longest single author poem in English is reputed to be My Blast Story by US writer Nigel Tom, which stretches to 23,161 lines. The early English epic poem Beowulf comes to just over 3,000 lines, while Samuel Taylor Coleridge's The Rime of the Ancient Mariner runs to 625 lines. What is inside DNA? DNA is made up of molecules called nucleotides. Each nucleotide contains a phosphate group, a sugar group, and a nitrogen base. The four types of nitrogen bases are adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. The order of the bases is what determines DNA's instructions or genetic code. How many international airports are there in India? 34 international airports. At present, there are 34 international airports in India, which connects the country with the outside world. What is the largest planet known to man? Largest planet, Jupiter. The largest planet in our solar system by far is Jupiter, which beats out all the other planets in both mass and volume. Jupiter's mass is more than 300 times that of Earth, and its diameter at 140,000 kilometers is about 11 times Earth's diameter. Why do we need passports? A passport is used to verify one's country of citizenship. If traveling outside your country, it is used to regain entry into your country of citizenship. Passports include your photo, name, birth date, gender, and physical characteristics. For US citizens, some countries only require a passport for re entry. Where is the Gulf of Khambhat? Gulf of Khambhat, also called Gulf of Cambay, trumpet-shaped Gulf of the Arabian Sea, indenting northward the coast of Gujarat state, western India, between Mumbai and the Kathiawar Peninsula. It is 120 miles, that is 190 kilometers wide at its mouth between Diu and Daman, but it rapidly narrows to 15 miles, that is 24 kilometers. Why is Ratan Tata not named among the richest people of India as shown by the various surveys? Tata Group is running 96 businesses, and out of which 28 companies are publicly listed on the various stock exchanges. With this plenitude of Investments. Ratan Tata must have been in the richest as the richest person of the country at least. But according to Forbes 2016, he was not even in the top 100 in India. The reason is simple. Ratan Tata or any Tata for that matter doesn't own much of shares in Tata group of companies. Over 60% of shares are being held by Tata Sons, a trust of Tatas, and they spend huge amounts on social welfare. That is the reason why any Tata was not, is not, will never be the richest person in India. What is GST in simple words? The Goods and Services Tax (GST) is value added tax levied on most goods and services sold for domestic consumption. The GST is paid by consumers, but it is remitted to the government by the businesses selling the goods and services. Which state Bastar is situated? State of Chhattisgarh. Bastar district. Bastar is a district in the state of Chhattisgarh in central India. What is the tallest building in the world 2020? Burj Khalifa in Dubai. There are three mega tall buildings in existence. These are the Burj Khalifa, Dubai, 828 meters, Shanghai Tower, Shanghai, 632 meters, and Makkah Royal Clock Tower Hotel, 601 meters, Makkah. What is it called when you forget words? Anomic aphasia. Anomic aphasia, also known as dysnomia, nominal aphasia, and amnesic aphasia, is a mild, fluent type of aphasia where individuals have word retrieval failures and cannot express the words they want to say, particularly nouns and verbs. Anomia is a deficit of expressive language. Who made gunpowder? It is China. Gunpowder was invented in 9th century China as one of the four great inventions and spread throughout most parts of Eurasia by the end of the 13th century. Originally developed by the Taoists for medicinal purposes, gunpowder was first used for. How is a DNA fingerprint made? The procedure for creating a DNA fingerprint consists of first obtaining a sample of cells such as skin, hair, or blood cells which contain DNA. The DNA is extracted from the cells and purified. Can you sleep facing north? Was it an irrational practice to avoid sleeping with the head facing the north? The answer is these people chose not to face north while sleeping because they knew about the magnetic power of the earth. They were aware of the fact that magnetic fields on the earth are concentrated in the north and the south pole. How many horses are in Konark temple? Seven horses. The Sun Temple was built in the 13th century and designed as a gigantic chariot of the sun god Surya with 12 pairs of ornamented wheels pulled by seven horses. Some of the wheels are 3 meters wide. Only six of the seven horses still stand today. What is the smallest country in the world? It is Vatican City. Based on landmass, Vatican City is the smallest country in the world, measuring just zero point 0.2 square miles, almost 120 times smaller than the island of Manhattan. Situated on the western bank of the Tiber River, Vatican City's 2-mile border is landlocked by Italy. Why Red Fort is red? When the fort was built by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan in 1648, it was white in color, built with sandstones. Not only did the name but the color of the fort was also changed to red. It was when the white stone began chipping off, the British had to paint it with red. Is the Taj Mahal sinking? The Taj Mahal, built to stand as an eternal symbol of the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan's love for his wife Mumtaz Mahal, could slowly be sinking according to architects. The building's foundations require a steady stream of moisture from the Yamuna River to retain its strength, but the river is slowly drying up. What country is known for chocolates? Switzerland. Switzerland is well known for its chocolates and principal chocolate manufacturers. The production of chocolate is an important source of wealth for the country. Zurich is often considered the foundation for the country's chocolate production. Which country has the best rice in the world? Cambodian. For the third straight year, the World Rice Conference has voted Cambodian rice as the world's best. This year, Cambodia shares the award with Thailand. What is the most produced crop in the world? Wheat. Wheat is the most widely grown crop in the world and provides 20% of the daily protein and of the food calories for 4.5 billion people. It is the second most important food crop in the developing world after rice. Who introduced pietra dura? Shah Jahan. Pietra dura, called the Perchin curry or Perchin curry in the Indian subcontinent, is a term for the inlay technique of using cut and fitted, highly polished colored stones. Pietra dura was used by Shah Jahan in the Red Fort at Delhi. Which country has an unwritten constitution? Britain is unusual in that it has an unwritten constitution. Unlike the great majority of countries, there is no single legal document which sets out in one place the fundamental laws outlining how the state works. Britain's lack of a written constitution can be explained by its history. What country is the world's oldest functioning democracy? The Icelandic democracy, formed in 930 AD by the Vikings, the Althing, which is the name of the government of Iceland, has 63 members. Though it is an old democracy, it is considered to be the oldest and longest running parliament on earth. What is the first constitution? America's first constitution, the Articles of Confederation, was ratified in 1781, a time when nation was a loose confederation of states, each operating like independent countries. What will happen if financial emergency is declared in India? It is popularly called as the President's rule. Under Article 360, the President can declare financial emergency if there is serious threat to the financial conditions of the nation. The government can reduce the salary of government employees, including IAS, IPS officers, and judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts. Why soaked almonds are better? Soaked almonds are better because the peel of almond contains tannin, which inhibits nutrient absorption. Soaking the almonds makes it easy to take off the peel, which allows the nuts to release all the nutrients easily. What is the difference between yogurt and curd? Curd or dahi is a dairy product which is made by curdling milk with edible acidic substance like lemon juice, vinegar, and even curd itself. Yogurt, on the other hand, is created by bacterial fermentation of milk to make yogurt. Yogurt culture consisting of lactobacillus bulgaricus and streptococcus thermophiles used. What is the oldest company in the world? Nasiaman Onsen Quincan. The oldest company in the world is a hotel called Nasiyama Onsen Kenkan in Japan, which opened in 705 AD. Why are seasons important to humans? The change of seasons allows for many different types of work, food, celebrations, and recreation. Plants and animals also change their ways with the seasons. Fall, winter, spring, and summer were included to show the effects of weather changes on how we live. Why do they call it pizza? We now know the 1,000-year-old origin of the word pizza. The pizza with tomato and mozzarella was named in honor to the Queen of Italy during a visit to Naples in 1889. Her name was Margherita of Savoy. What is the southernmost World Heritage Site? The New Zealand sub-Antarctic islands comprise the five southernmost groups of the New Zealand outlying islands. They are collectively designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Who discovered Hampi? Colin Mackenzie. Kampili is now a quaint town that is situated 19 kilometers on the east of Hampi. It was Colin Mackenzie who discovered the ruins of Hampi in 1800 AD. The Archaeological Survey of India still does many excavations to discover the many beautiful temples and also other artifacts. Which countries are hardest to give citizenship? Austria, Germany, Japan, and Switzerland, United States are five nations that make it especially difficult for foreigners to establish permanent residency or obtain citizenship. How old is America? 244 years old. That is the age since independence was achieved from Great Britain following the Revolutionary War of the 19th century. The founding fathers sealed the declaration on 4th July 1776 and that makes the country 244 years old as of today. What is the oldest cheese in the world? Great Gouda. World's oldest cheese found on mummies. Vintage Gouda may be aged for 5 years, some cheddar for a decade. They are both under ripe youngsters, compared with yellowish clumps found on the necks and chests of Chinese mummies, now revealed to be the world's oldest cheese. How much DNA is in the human body? To genome or not to genome, and which cell you are reading about. Most cells in our body have two copies of the genome with 6 billion base pairs of DNA. Germ cells only have one copy of the genome made up of 3 billion base pairs of DNA. What is Lahore famous for? Lahore is the second biggest city in Pakistan. It is the capital of the province of Punjab. It is also known as the City of Gardens because of its many parks and gardens. This city is known for its rich culture and lively atmosphere. What is the most beautiful capital in the world? Most beautiful capitals of the world. London. The most beautiful capital city, London, the city of the kings and queens, is situated on the river Thames, and that is one of the reasons how it got ranked as the most beautiful capital city. Why is Rajghat famous? Rajghat is a memorial dedicated to Mahatma Gandhi in Delhi, India. Later, the memorial area was also called Rajghat. It is a black marble platform that marks the spot of Mahatma Gandhi's cremation. Last rites on 31st January 1948, a day after his assassination. Why is Britain no longer a superpower? The Suez Crisis is widely regarded as ending Britain's status as an imperial power after its American ally humiliatingly forced the British and French to withdraw, cementing the increasingly bipolar Cold War politics between the Soviet Union and United States. Many saw this as symbolizing Britain's post war decline. Why is ancient history important? Studying ancient history helps you to connect yourself with the people of ancient history and you learn what mistakes they made, what was the impact, and what they learned. Ancient history can always fascinate you. It helps you to connect with your roots and understand the reasons behind those traditional beliefs. What is the oldest book in the world? The Gutenberg Bible. The Gutenberg Bible, also known as the 42-line Bible, is listed by the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's oldest mechanically printed book, the first copies of which were printed in 1454 to 1455 AD. Which is the hardest language in the world? It is Mandarin, Chinese language. Mandarin Chinese, interestingly, the hardest language to learn, is also the most widely spoken native language in the world. Mandarin Chinese is challenging for a number of reasons. Which is the highest gravity dam in the world? Grande Dixence Dam. The tallest gravity dam is the 285 meter, that is 935 feet high Grande Dixence Dam in Switzerland, the highest natural dam, Suraj Dam 567 meters, that is 1860 feet, in Tajikistan is higher than the highest existing man-made one. Who constructed Hampi? The temple was built by Lakkan Dandesha, a Nayaka chieftain under the ruler Devaraya II, also known as Praduva Devaraya of the Vijayanagara Empire. Hampi, capital of the Vijayanagara Empire, sits on the banks of the river Tungabhadra. Who is the father of computer virus? Von Neumann's design for a self-reproducing computer program is considered the world's first computer virus, and he is considered to be the theoretical father of computer virology. Which plant virus has DNA? The best known member of this group, the cauliflower mosaic virus, was the first plant virus found to contain DNA. About a half dozen similar viruses are known, all of which contain double stranded DNA. The second group of DNA viruses is exemplified by bean golden mosaic with a single stranded DNA. What is the smallest organism on earth? Mycoplasma genitalium, a parasitic bacterium which lives in the primate bladder, waste disposal organs, genital and respiratory tracts, is thought to be the smallest known organism capable of the independent growth and reproduction. Do you really need antivirus for PC? There are too many dangers out there to risk going on online without proper protection. Antivirus is still absolutely necessary to protect you from unwanted and malicious intruders such as viruses, trojans, botnets, ransomware, and other types of malware. Who decided 24-hour day? Our 24-hour day comes from the ancient Egyptians who divided daytime into the 10 hours. They measured with devices such as shadow clocks and added a twilight hour at the beginning and another one at the end of the daytime, says Lamb. Night time was divided in 12 hours based on the observations of stars. What does moratorium mean in banking? An example of a moratorium is a deferment on the payback on loans. A moratorium period is a time during the loan term when the borrower is not required to make any repayments. It is a waiting period before which repayment by way of EMIs begins. Normally, the repayment begins after the loan is disbursed and the payments have to be made each month. Who is the father of zero based budget? Pity Fir. Pete Fir, 73 years old, developed zero based budgeting as a young manager with Texas Instruments more than 40 years ago. 5 decades ago, young Texas Instruments Inc. TXN 0.93% accounting manager named Pete Fir pioneered a technique to help businesses shave costs. Who introduced railways in India? The country's first passenger train, which ran between Bombay's Bori Bandar station and Thane on 16th April 1853, was dedicated by Lord Dalhousie. The 14-carriage train was hauled by three steam locomotives, the Sahib, Sindh, and Sultan. What is the name of the first train in India? The first commercial train journey in India between Bombay and Thane on 16th April 1853 in a 14-carriage long train drawn by three locomotives named Sultan, Sindh and Sahib. It was around 21 miles in length and took approximately 45 minutes.